Well, last week in the Nürburgring, we hit the halfway point in this fantastic series. And today we head to sunny California for what is sure to be an action-packed 25 minutes at Laguna Seca. Hi everyone, welcome to round 7 of the Asia Pacific Grand Touring Challenge presented by Blackadder Motorsports. I'm joined as always by my good friend Jeremiah Morton. And Jessa, you can't help but feel this is going to be a really exciting race, can you?
Oh man, I'm excited as you can be. Laguna Seca, what amazing circuit to come to this week. Very twisty, very challenging for all the drivers. A large variety of corners, slow corners, fast sweeping corners. It's got it all. I love the track.
Now, the first half of the season, we've pretty much crisscrossed the globe. We visited Summit Point, Daytona, Bathurst, Lime Rock Park, Monza, and the Nürburgring. So now as we turn our attention to the pointy end of the championship, back end of the championship, we're going to continue to visit some really amazing racetracks, like you said, Laguna Seca today, and then Watkins Glen, Le Mans, Silverstone, Suzuka, and of course our season finale at New Hampshire. Do you think the attitude of the drivers, particularly those in championship contention, is going to start to change now that we've reached the halfway point?
I think the emphasis on the points that they've scored currently and the points that they will score will become a lot more formal, I guess. The drivers will be taking very big and close attention to the standings. They'll be looking at their points. They'll be strategically trying to work out, well, where am I going to roughly sit if I continue my current trend in results. The leaders, I feel, are going to get more and more pressure building up as the rounds go on, coming into the season finale in New Hampshire. It's going to be interesting to see how they handle it. And we're going to see some mistakes that they wouldn't usually be making coming into the last few races, but it all comes down to the last few races to see how close it is going to be coming into the finale.
All right, so we're on the topic of championship standings. Let's have a look at the current standings, the halfway point of the championship. And in the Mustang class, Ben Callow, despite actually missing a round running in the Pontiac, is leading the championship by just 22 points over Gary Fishwick. Fishwick has got to that point with consistency, but it's had two lackluster rounds, the last two, but it's only got a 4-point lead of Mark Dial, so Mark's staying in it. Dan Carrick-Constantis has only completed 2 rounds, but both of those rounds he's scored more than 100 points, so if he keeps coming back, we might see him make a move to the top. In the Volkswagen Jettas, it's John M. King with 199 points and a 9-point lead over Brian De Bruin, and Colin Klobman not too far behind. And then, of course, we have a look at the Pontiac Solstice, where it is on for young and old. Particularly, I think our two main championship contenders have sort of shown themselves to be Dennis Van der Schiel and Russell Clark. Now, Dennis actually has an 80-point lead over Russell at the moment, who has a 51-point lead over Brad Fenley, the reigning champion. So those three are the championship contenders, but it's certainly looking like Dennis and Russell at the moment.
Yeah, they're pulling out a pretty significant gap to third place with Brad Fenley in third. I think these guys, as we've seen, they've battled all season long. They will continue to battle, but I think these guys have been too strong for the rest of the Pontiac field, and I'm sure that they're going to continue their good form, provided that they don't find themselves in a bit of a tangle. I have to say, Dan Carrick-Constantis has been the massive guy that's come into this series. As you said, only done 2 races, Bathurst and Nordschleife, both very tough endurance races. And he's shown that he's been able to really pressure Ben Callow, Gary Fishwick, and Mark Dial at the top of the standing. So watch out for him coming into the end of the season. Obviously, there's a couple of drop rounds that they do get, but him missing 4 rounds already, it doesn't really help him that much. But we'll see how he goes at the end.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good point you make, the drop rounds, because he's, 80, nearly 100 points behind Ben Callow, but you do get those 2 drop rounds. So if he completes the rest of the championship, he only actually misses 2 rounds. So if he keeps up the form he's going out, well, you never know. Those 2 drop rounds will come in handy for a lot of guys, especially, Ben Callow, who, of of course, has actually missed 3 rounds as well. So I'm just going to go back on a few statements there, and I missed that. But anyway, let's take a bit of stock now. We're halfway through the season, so let's spend a bit of time looking at where we've been. And it all started, of course, at Summit Point, where Nathan Yaramenko absolutely dominated the race. But we haven't seen him since. And the Pontiacs, that was won by another guy we haven't seen, Robin Rosenbinge. And then we headed to Daytona. There were only 11 cars. And it was a great battle up the front. Paul Rogers took the win. Bathurst was Callow. Lime Rock, Ben Callow again. Monza was Craig A. Williams, who put in a stellar drive, sort of from nowhere to win there. And then last week, of course, on the Nürburgring, Dan Carrick and Stantis. But mate, what's your take on what we've seen so far this season? Because it's been very action-packed, a lot of different winners. And what's your opinion on what we've seen so far?
I think we've seen some of the finest driving in this series in the last couple of weeks. I found that a couple of new guys coming in with the regular guys finding more comfortable driving amongst each other. I found that they've found the comfortable spot to be able to know, is this person going to be able to pass? Is this person going to be, going defensive? And they're getting used to the driving style of the drivers. So I think as we go on and they get more used to each other, the driving will get a lot more tighter, I reckon. But it has been a very good battle between a lot of guys in the different respective classes. It will continue to go on. And leading into the races that are to come is going to be amazing. The racetracks that we go to are going to be, they're incredible racetracks. Le Mans and New Hampshire for the finale. I think it's a concrete mayhem there. So anything goes wrong is going to go wrong pretty badly. We're just going to look at the track guide before we hit the track. The guys are just starting just about to start their qualifying laps, but we'll check out the track. So Mazda Laguna Seca, 11 turns. We head down to the Andretti hairpin after a relatively long straight. That's a tough corner to get right. Coming through kind of a double left apex, and trying not to run too wide on turn 2.
Yeah, turn 1 of this place, they might classify it as turn 2, I'm not sure, but that first left-hand hairpin has got to be one of the trickiest turns in the world. I really struggle with that corner when I've driven the track personally, but I'm sure the drivers today are going to have a bit of a nightmare trying to get the cars in there, especially in the Mustangs. But that's a very tricky turn.
Yep, and then we go on to turn 3, it's a right-hander. Turn 4 is another fast right-hander, going into a little straight. Turn 5, a left-hander, mid-pace, trying to keep up the mid-corner turn. Turn 6 is a very tough corner to get right. It's off camber, there's a curb right on the inside, which is pretty big, and if you get that wrong, your car jumps up on the curb and goes sideways. Did a bit of testing in the Pontiac this afternoon just to see lap time comparisons and stuff, and I hit that curb and it just went sideways from there. So watch out for the Pontiacs getting some air and then losing it there. But as they come up the straight, Rahal Straight, they come into a very tight left and right complex called the Corkscrew, and that is the place where action is going to happen today, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, Corkscrew, one of the most famous pieces of racetrack in the world, actually. Very tricky to get the car settled and not to lock the inside brake as you come over, because the car comes over and you're turning right and you're trying to get on the brakes while you're turning, and then you got to turn the car in left. It's kind of blind where the apex is on the left-hand side, so getting it in, nailing that apex, then turning it in steep downhill, much like the dipper at Bathurst, and getting that right-hand apex without getting any gravel and getting a slowdown is very tricky. And then you head up to that next left-hander, which is a bizarre corner. It's very, very strange. There's a lot of different lines you can take. And it's a corner that I think it's often sort of overlooked. But you can actually get a fair bit of time there. and then down into the right-hander. That's quite a good flowing corner when you get it right. And then down to the final hairpin, probably a first gear corner for a lot of these guys. And make sure you minimise the wheel spin on the exit to get a good run up the straight.
Yeah, one of those corners, one of those tracks where some overtaking can be done on the straights. There's long straights, so it can be done, but it's not as influential as the big tracks like Bathurst or Le Mans. So I think passing moves will be done on the corners themselves tonight.
Yeah, it's going to require less drafting and more aggression on the brakes. And you got to be careful, those curbs you were talking about, those big sausage curbs, as I like to call them, on the inside of some of the corners, are actually really, really brutal around this place. If you hit them, not only will it send you flying, but it can actually bend your steering, so you got to be really careful of those curbs. I got to say, I reckon this track's actually pretty underrated. It's certainly one of the most challenging tracks, in my opinion. And yeah, I mean, obviously it's a free track with iRacing, which is great. It brings numbers, but I do think it's underrated.
Yeah, no doubt. It's a track that catches you off guard if you get it wrong. It's definitely a track where a lot of exciting passes will be done. And I think tonight we're going to see a lot of other cars put up a bit of competition to our leaders.
Yeah, fantastic to see 24 cars on the grid today, and qualifying is currently underway, so we should have a bit of an eye on what's going on. Ben Callow, currently the fastest in the Ford Mustangs. A stellar field of Pontiac Solstice today, though. There's, let's have a look, 8 Mustangs, 1 Volkswagen Jetta, so Brad de Bruin guaranteed to extend his championship lead, and then that's, help me with the maths, 13 I think, or maybe 15 Pontiac Solstice. That's exciting.
Yeah, that's a big field. We got the usual guys of Russell Clark and Brad Fenley. Interestingly, there's no Dennis tonight, so that's a big shake-up. Yeah, that's a big talking point. We got Benjamin Turner.
Off track.
He's racing in tonight's race.
Yeah, so Russell Clyde really, really needs to capitalise today without any Dennis Vandershield there to get in his way. Russell really needs to win this race to capitalise on that opportunity and keep himself right there in the championship hunt. So he'll be trying to do that. Brent Fenley will also be trying to pick himself up a solid finish. But Alan McCain is currently P2 in qualies, so keep an eye out for that name. Alan McCain from the UK. So a bit of a range of international drivers here, actually quite a lot of Australians, but some from Canada, Asia, France, Iberia, and another one from Central Eastern Europe. So
wow, very big variety. It's not something you usually see in the Asia Pacific Championship, but good to have the Canadians and the Iberians on board. Well, they look like they're just finishing up their second qualifying lap at the moment. Most of them have gone back to the pit. I think Gary Fishwick's on his third lap. He's down on pace tonight. Gary Fishwick and both Gary and Ernie 7th and 8th. They're a couple of seconds off the lead. John D. Barry has got pole at the moment by 0.8 of a second. That's pretty big over Ben Callow.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty big talking point. I haven't seen that sort of pace from John Barry, but to be 0.8 quicker than Ben Callow, that's significant. Ben might have his work cut out for him. Just on Ernie Ludwig, he seems to be in a bit of a form slump at the moment. A few weeks ago he was going really strong, but yeah, currently qualified on the 4th row, so see if he can move forward.
Yeah, I'm sure he's trying to put in the workload and try and get back out on top. It's not always easy with a couple of tracks that probably don't suit his driving style, or he doesn't particularly like. It's quite easy to get in a bit of a slump, and once you do get in a slump, you're consciously thinking about it, and usually you make little mistakes. So it's just about but staying positive, making sure that you're just hitting your marks, hitting your brakes at the right time, and minimising the off tracks and the little incidents you can have.
Yeah, this is a track you have to be very, very confident at if you're struggling with a bit of a form slump. This really isn't the track to go to because you really have to be millimetre perfect to get a good lap around here. And bringing up the off track is actually quite a good point because, of course, you lose points for incidents in this championship and gain points for having no incidents. And just getting a little off track here is so easy when you're trying to push the cars. So the guys that are really millimetre perfect in their driving will make gains this weekend.
Yeah, no doubt. I think we're hearing a little bit that Craig M. Hopkins has got some issues. I think he's in the Pontiac class. He's got some serious issues apparently, so unfortunate for Craig just before the start of the race.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on there for Craig. That's never what you want at the start of a motor race. We just wait then for 24 drivers to start their formation lap.
A few interesting names in tonight's race. Got series organiser Oliver Searles back in the race seat after commentating with us last week. We've also got Tom R. Jones, who's one of those iRacing World Endurance Series Blancpain Pro Series races. He has been racing with Evolution Racing Australia, and he qualified for the series this year. It's good to see him in tonight's field. I saw he's doing a bit of practicing this week in this car. Seems like he's just jumping from a few series and just having some fun. So hopefully he has a good race tonight. Not too far off the pace of the other guys. So looking forward to seeing him coming through and possibly getting a podium.
Yeah, it's pretty cool to have a pro driver in the field. Well, as the cars start their formation lap, let's run you through the starting grid for round 7 of the championship. Laguna Seca. On the front row, it's John Barry and Ben Keller. I'm expecting John looks like he could take the fight to Ben today, so we'll see if Ben can keep him up. Row 2, it's Mark Dahl and Tom Jones. Row 3, Oliver Searles, Stephen Patmore. And row 4, it's Gary Fishwick and Ernie Ludwig. And in the Volkswagen Jetta, it's just Brian de Bruin.
In the Pontiacs, we've got Russell Clark, Alan McCain, Jean-Baptiste Payen, Brad Fenley, Benjamin Turner, good result from him, qualified 5th position, Russ Marius, Benjamin, this is a tough name to pronounce, Benjamin de la Torre Escudero. I think I did right there. Man, that's a mouthful.
Good work.
And Ollie Anderson, Yuka Kimura, and Janos Frank rounds out the Salsa. One more car. Laurent Raffiagal, James Bowden, Esker Kenyajo, and Craig M. Hopkins makes the grid.
There's a few more cars after that actually. Lawrence Raffigu, Bruno Sebastian, and Wayne Shepherd.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So actually 25 cars. That's
humongous field.
Very close to getting a split today.
Yeah.
Glad we didn't.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah. Who's your tip?
You bet me to it. Oh man. All right. Gotta say Ben Keller. Can't go past Ben Keller and Russell Clark in the Pontiacs.
All right, I'm gonna have to say John D. Barry and Russell Clark in the Pontiacs. As the pace car just rolls into pit lane, we're just about to get ready for a 25-minute race here at Mazda Laguna Seca. John D. Barry holds the pace.
Green!
And he goes green. Bit of a jump from Ben Keller there.
That's a good size. Outside race start. John Barry, Ben Keller's gonna have to try and get it over to get in front of Mark Dahl here, otherwise he could be in all sorts of pressure. Dahl's down the inside. Keller going late under brakes, so I reckon he might have just held on there. No, Dahl's going to stay with him. So they're going to run side by side up to the next corner, and that's let John Barry off the hook a little bit here.
as we see the Pontiacs just make it cleanly through turn 1. Good work from them.
And Alan McCain's grabbed the lead from Russell Clark, so it's going to be on for young and old for those boys. Ben Gallo has slotted into second place then, so let's see if he can stick with John Barry here. Barry was 8/10 quicker in qualifying, which was surprising to see, so we'll see just how this race unfolds, especially in the first few laps. Ben just needs to stick on the back of John and try and keep the pressure on as they come up to the corkscrew for the first time. Hard on the brakes into the left-hander. Ben looks a little bit stronger there into the entry, but didn't quite nail the right hand, I don't think. So John, a little bit of gap, but not too much.
Yeah, John's doing a good job of just getting his lines right. Cold tyres, so not easy.
Having the stellar run through the right-hander is right up onto the back.
Oh, there's contact in the corner.
Touch.
He's trying to do the bump and run.
I could give him a little bit of a run here. See how they go up the front straight. So John Barry leads lap 1, but he's under all sorts of pressure from Ben Gallo. See if he flies it down the inside into 1. He stays behind.
Good choice, good choice.
That was pretty hairy through the last corner. Pontiacs complete their first lap. Alan McCain leads Russell Clark from John Baptiste, Cayenne, Brad Fenley, Russ Maris. That's your top 5. And it's looking like a pretty good 4-way battle for the lead at the moment for those boys.
Yeah, we'll go back and look at Pontiacs. Alan McCain's still leading. Just Brian DeBorn just getting in his pace. There's only VW out there tonight, so a bit unfortunate there's only one, but he looks like he's just plodding around, good pace.
Russell Clark was having a little bit of a look into turn 5, but Alan McCain's going defensive, so this could be on when they get up to the corkscrew on lap 2 here. We left an all lot of curve for Clark, he's run real wide. He got away with that one. Very greedy with the curve.
Meanwhile, a couple of the Pontiacs go off the road a bit, no contact and no damage. They look like they're doing alright, but Benjamin Turner, I think, was caught up in it a little bit, but no damage, no contact. It's good to see. Oh no! Bit of contact. Good save from Benjamin Turner. Absolutely brilliant save. He gets tapped in the rear by, who was that? That was Janos Frank. Oh no, it wasn't. It was car behind. Iskir Kanjo touches him mid-corner, and Ben Turner gets all crossed up in the mid-corner, but manages to save it brilliantly. Good save from Benjamin.
That's out of control. That's a very good save there by Ben Turner. Meanwhile, back in front, Ben Callow sticking with the back of John Barry. John just has a little bit of a gap, about half a second. There's nothing in it though. Ben looks like it's going to be sticking with him here, which is good to see. Mark Giles back a little bit, and he has a little bit of a gap over Tom Jones, so Mark got to settle in here and try and pick up a nice podium position. Maybe these two leaders have it coming together, which we've got to say we haven't seen very much of it all this season, which has been very impressive and nice to see. But when you're racing this close, things do happen.
Yes, that's part of motor racing.
Craig Hopkins has just dropped out. That's
unfortunate for Craig. I think the internet is the issue tonight.
Tell you what, into the final corner, Ben Keller looks much deeper under brakes than John Barry. And I think that's what caught him out on lap 1, but he was very close then, and he's quite close now into the first corner.
Wow, we've got multiple battles going on at the moment. Some pretty hairy moments at the top of the corkscrew for the Pontiacs, but they managed to get through there safely. Head back to the leading Mustangs.
It's good that we got a few different eyes going on at the moment, because it's actually going on everywhere. We need eyes in the back of our head to see what's going on. Good track this one. You can actually see a fair bit of the track from one place, which is always nice.
That's right.
So Ben Callow qualified with a 37.8, and his last lap was a 36.7. So throw those qualifying performances out the window. Ben Callow today.
Yes, he's picked it up in the race. Good job. Oliver Searles finds him in the top 5. It's a good job from him to maintain position.
Yeah, not too far back off of Tom Jones either, so the 4 car under a bit of pressure. Alright, let's sit back and ride on board with Ben Callow for a lap. Tell you what, Ben looks really strong. There's a couple places where John Barrier's just a little bit quicker, but Ben looks really strong for the most part.
Yeah, definitely. There's a couple of moments there where I felt like I was just about to go through the rear end of John D. Barry's car, but Ben Callow's making sure to stick on the back of him. He's pulling out of the corners early, letting off the throttle, which is a smart move to do until the last 5 minutes when you have to actually make some moves and go for some passes. But Ben Callow got the fastest lap that lap, 1:37.062. That's fastest lap for the race. Good job for Ben.
While we were watching that on board, there was a little walk back between Stephen Patmore and Gary Fishwick. Over the corkscrew, Stephen just run wide, sort of cut the corner and then sort of brought the car to a stop, and Gary had nowhere to go into the side of him. Very light contact, so I don't think that would have affected either of those guys too much, although Patmore is currently in the pits, so I'm not sure what's happened there, if that was damage or if there was another issue that actually caused that accident. As is common in the Pontiac battle, the two front leaders have checked out, but this time it's not Dennis van der Schild, it's Alan McCain who's gone with Russell Clark, and Russell is all over the back of him. He's been there since lap 1, but he just doesn't quite have enough to get
Yeah, these guys, as we've seen in the series, a couple of battle packs form mid-race, about 14 minutes in. So it's good to see them going hard at it. But as we've seen, there is a few battle packs that do form due to some incidents or due to some changes in skill levels and speed of the cars. So as we ride on board with Russell coming through turn 9 through to turn 10 now, hits the apex nicely up on the curb. and prepare and go to the right hand side to prepare for the very slow turn 11.
Oscar looks like it's got a lot of point, which is definitely a good thing at this track. But he's been pretty aggressive with those curbs, so obviously he's found a way to use them, which if you can, that's definitely an advantage. But just got to be careful that they don't throw you into a spin or into a big moment. Alan McKay just locked the brake there through turn 1, I reckon, but it hasn't really cost him anything. Quite a way back to P3.
We'll quickly check in with the VW driver of De Braun. He's just coming up towards the corkscrew now. He's got Ernie Ludwig right on his tail. And he's still lapping at good pace, so good to see him maintaining consistent lap times.
Oh, it's side by side, just about at the front. Callow had a beautiful look on the exit of 1. Just got a better run out, got a better drive off the corner. Couldn't get anything done, but these guys are starting to come up to lap traffic. Yuya Kimura is the first car that these boys are going to come across. And this could be, and has been in the past races, where we see the face of the race start to really change.
Yeah, the drivers are now realising that there's only 12 minutes left to the race to go, plus or minus 1 lap. The main portion of the race is over. Now they can start. Now they know the grip levels and how the car handles in these conditions. They can start pushing it back. John D. Barry gets caught up with some of the lap traffic, but the lap traffic does get out of the way nicely. So good job.
Yeah, that was an awkward place to catch him, but they've got through it all right.
Lap times between John DeBarry and Ben Callow. Brake lights, calipers glowing as they come into turn 1.
Yeah, these two seem to be very evenly matched, so I certainly think the lap traffic is going to play a pretty significant part in this race, because there is a really big pack of Pontiacs coming up. Ollie Anderson's the first one they're going to come across, and then there's a pack of 3 led by Benjamin Turner. So those guys are in their own battle, but they're going to have their wits about to get out of the way of the 2 leading Mustangs. Can't help but feel that if Ben wants to make a move, he's going to have to be aggressive. He's just lost a bit of time there, but yeah, when he wants to make a move, it's going to have to be under brakes, and it's going to have to be a risk taking, so he has to weigh up championship versus the glory of winning. He's got to make that decision, so and he's really got held up there.
Oh, the Pontiac dives to the outside. That is not good. Ben Callow gets caught up a lot, loses about half a second there.
It's cost Ben a lot of time, but as we've seen, for example, at Lime Park, what goes around comes around. It happens to one guy, and Ben right now will be feeling that he's been hard done by, but chances are it's about to happen to John Barry. Apologies. And this is tricky through turn 1. Wow, Benjamin Turner getting right out of the way into the gravel, and he could lose a position here for that. Side by side with Russ Marias, and he has indeed lost a position. Could lose 2.
Yeah, from the angle here, it looked like John D. Barry came in very hot there, and Benjamin Turner took evasive action. Could have just been the angle that we were looking at on the broadcast, but yeah, it looked like John D. Barry was struggling to pull that up.
Yeah, it's one of those things when when you're in one of the slower classes, and the leader of the top classes coming up behind you. You just want to get out of the way because they're not going to wait. Russell Clark has just dropped a little bit off the back of Alan McCain, about 2 seconds off the back, so he's got his work cut out for him to try and catch that time back up. And a car spun up ahead of the Mustangs. The 22 car spun, and that was the 3rd position car of Jean-Baptiste Payen. So I'm not sure if there was contact. Let's have a look.
I think he lost it by himself.
Ooh, I don't know. No, I reckon there was contact with Brad Fenley.
Oh.
Brad Fenley came from a long way back.
Wow, and Jean's not too happy on the text chat.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's happened there. I'm just trying to work it out. Brad came from like a 10 or 15 car lengths back. Brad looks like he was going to get the car stopped, so John was going very slow. I can't work out what's happened there. That's a little bit too weird. Very strange. Very strange. Have to maybe get some of the drivers' thoughts after the race.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, Ben Keller's closed that gap up. He's right on the tail of John Barry now. Bit of lap traffic coming into play there.
Gets out of the way nicely. Oh, Ben's got a good run. He's got to pull up alongside him. This could be the move. He's got to go around. Got to go around the outside. That's brave. But if he can hold on, he can get down the inside into the final corner.
Are we going to see a crisscross here? John D. Barry, nah, he's just going to go in late.
No, he's going to try and hold around the outside. He's got a good run out. He's just slide in behind and try to get the inside for turn 1. Here we go, up the straight.
He's trying to decide, does he go to the outside or does he try and go to the inside? He's going to hit the outside, he's going to dive to the inside, is he? Nah, he's going to hold the outside. Try and get a good run through the second part of this corner.
He's got to get the power down. Ben was quite outsidewards there. But Ben gets the power down and Ben gets the move done for now. So Ben is your new race leader. And that was opportunistic there from Callow.
Yeah, definitely, Callow. You have to go for those moves. You can't hold back. But Callow's looking like he is struggling a little bit with the car, coming in sideways to most of the corners. So it could be just the fact that he's trying to push it and try and get to the lead, and now he's in the lead. Maybe he'll be a bit more conservative, but we'll soon find out. As Ben Callow goes right off the track.
That's not that he's struggling to get it back on. He just had enough of a gap that he might not be under pressure into the corkscrew. But that was lucky for Ben. We saw that at the Nürburgring though, and actually Oliver, guest commentator last weekend, commented that Ben is surprisingly good at driving all 4 wheels off the track and just keeping it planted straight, which is pretty much exactly what he just did then. Yeah,
it's incredible. I don't think I've seen any better car control on the sand from a Mustang than I've seen him. So he's definitely been practicing his autocross.
Meanwhile, Oliver Searles, who was just glued to the back of Tom Jones, has gained a tiny bit from about 15 minutes ago when we looked at him last. Gained probably half a second to a second. So that race is still on. Let's see if we can make a move.
We've got 2 cars in the pit lane now. We've got Mark Dial in the Mustang and Laurent Raffagal has just pulled in the Solstice, both with substantial damage.
Oh, Mark Dial, that was the 3rd place runner. I'm just trying to have a bit of a look. Oh my goodness. Lap 12 is where this has happened. Going up to the corkscrew, and this is a big incident. And Mark, wow. Let me know when you found a replay of this, because Mark was really just an innocent bystander.
Yep, we'll bring you the replay now. So he's coming up through the hard turn left. He comes up through the corkscrew. Oh no! Oh no, that's mega contact from Jean.
So that's Janus Frank into the back of Laurent Raffagu. I'm not sure how that's happened, but then Raffagu's hit tyre and Giles is taking both out of the race. So that's a monster moment, and very disappointing for Mark Tyle. That's just one of those things that happens, I guess.
Yeah, well, both simultaneously coming out of the pit lane now. It's good to see Mark Dyer back out there. His car's looks to be pretty straight again, which is good to see.
Meanwhile, we missed it. I think Tom Jones got a slowdown. Oliver Searles has put himself up into third position, excuse me. So Oliver Searles on for a podium at the moment. And well, everything's happening and I'm missing it. John Barry's taking the lead back from Ben Gallo. So I'll try and find out. Yes, I've found out what's happened here. Ben Gallo's just locked up the brakes and run off turn 1 and the lead on a plate to John Barry. And in turn, John Barry's gone wide. This race is going off.
It really is. There's only 2.5 minutes left. And Ben Kelly's he's putting the eyes down. He's trying to catch up to the back end of John G. Barry, tuck under that wing and try and get some slipstream for the front straight. But he's going to try pretty hard in the last.
Not yet, I don't think so. Oh, and Benz has got a little loose coming out of turn 1. That's a costly error. Tell you what, he's driving the wheels off this thing. He's pushing as hard as he can push. He's all over the track. He's using all the track and a little bit more, and he's right outsidewards. That's a massive drift. How did he say that?
Oh boy!
What? That is crazy.
And out of all the times that we could lose signal, we just lost signal to the race server. So we'll have the footage back very soon.
Well, what I can tell you from watching it live is that Brad Fenley drifted around turn 3. One of those two. And he's driving the wheels up this thing. He's cut the corkscrew. He's got to slow down, though. He's giving it everything he's got, but unfortunately, he's not going to be able to grab this one. John Barry has pulled out the gap, but I got to applaud Ben Keller on that effort. John Barry around the final corner then, and he will take the win. That's a good drive from John. Very good drive. Ben Keller comes across second, and, well, he gave it everything he had. Everything he had.
He did. He really did. I don't think he could have anything against Ben Callow. He gave it his best shot tonight.
The battle for third is on here. Oliver has had a bit of a bad run out of the corkscrew, and Tom Jones is going to have the inside run into the final corner. It's the battle for the final spot on the podium. Will Oliver try and crisscross or go around the outside? He's going to go for the crisscross. Don't think he's going to have enough. So Searles misses out on a podium. Just Tom R. Jones picks up third place. Oliver Searles fourth. Great finish. I think Oliver Searles actually got a slowdown. That's what cost him that there at the end. Gary Fishwick, quite a solid fifth place. I think he'd be pretty happy with that. Ernie Ludwig sixth. Mark Dial seventh. That should have been a third place for Mark today. That's nothing short of unlucky.
Yeah, unfortunate there.
And Mark doesn't have too much happy to say about it. You can hear a few pretty negative words from Mark Dahl at the moment. And fair enoughly so as well. Alright, so the entire field is finished. Let's run you through the results for round 7 in the championship. John Barry, Ben Callow, Tom Jones, Oliver Searles, Gary Fishwick, Ernie Ludwig, Mark Dial, and then way back 12 laps down, Stephen Patmore. Still not entirely sure what happened with that accident. That was a bit of a weird one. Brian De Bruin, of course, picks up the win in the Volkswagen Jetta. And then in the Pontiac Solstice field, I'll let you go through those results, mate.
I'll leave it to you. I don't have any results here on the standings.
Alan McCain picked up the win. Russell Clark gave it everything he had, but just couldn't quite get there. Janos Frank, despite being involved in that nasty incident with Mark Dial, was actually picked up a 3rd position, if I'm right. I'm not sure if I've... that's interesting. Jean-Baptiste Payen 4th, Brad Family 5th. Brad probably would have been expecting to get a top 3 today, but that's just the way the cookie crumbles. Ben Turner, Ross Marius, Holly Anderson, Benjamin, I'm not going to try and pronounce your last name, James Bowden, Laurent Trafigu, Yuya Kimura, Isuki Kenjo, Craig Hopkins, Bruno Sebastian, and Wayne Shepherd. Bruno and Wayne with did not starts. So that was quite an exciting race. Very good finish. Sorry that we didn't have the footage in the last lap or so, but that was a
brilliant battle. Yeah, definitely. I really enjoyed that race. I knew it was going to be very close between a few of the front leaders, and it was always good to see the battles that entailed. So that's Laguna Seca, the 25-minute race finished. We'll soon head to the interviews. We'll just wait for a few drivers to be ready, and then we'll bring you some interviews.
Got a few drivers on the line at the moment. If we want to have a chat, love to talk to Ben Callow about that final lap. That was a good shot.
Yeah, we'll just see whether Ben's ready for an interview. Hey Ben, can you hear us?
If I unmute my mic, I can. Yes, there you go.
It's good to hear. Yeah, Ben, how you feeling?
Very sweaty. It's quite humid here in Adelaide tonight.
Yes, tell me about it.
Yes, it is very sweaty. A toasty 29 degrees today in Adelaide, but here at Mazda Laguna Seca, it was pretty warm. Pretty tough conditions, but you had an interesting battle there with John D. Barry. How was that coming into the last few laps?
Oh, I potatoed that so hard. I was pushing quite hard and kind of messed up my front tyres a little bit. So when I got in front of him, I kind of forgot where the braking markers were and went too deep into 2 corners and let him back through.
Hey, Ben, that was a fantastic final lap. You gave it absolutely everything you had. It was very entertaining for us to watch. Obviously, didn't quite pay off, but well done on giving it a red-hot crack.
Yeah, no worries. Cheers.
Leading the championship in the Asia Pacific Grand Touring Challenge. What's your mindset coming into the next 5 races?
Hopefully rock up to all of them and be in the right car when I join the session. And other than that, just enjoy myself. It's always good to have a midweek race in something that's not GT3 or Mazdas.
Yeah, it's a good series to run. You look like you always enjoy yourself. Now, it's a question we like to ask our drivers. I know you drive a Ford Mustang, but are you more of a Ford or a Holden man yourself?
Oh, I live like 2 minutes from Holden's, like the plant itself, so I'm a Holden boy through and through.
Awesome, good to hear. We like the Holden boys here at LitTV.
Do we?
Well, I do at least. I don't know about you, but I think you're the outcast.
All right, thanks for joining us, Ben. We'll jump over and go an interview with Brad Fedley now, I think, Jerry.
No worries. Cheers for the broadcast.
G'day, Brad Fenley. How you doing?
I'm doing okay, thanks. How are you guys going?
We're doing pretty well. We really enjoyed that race. It looked like you were battling along with a couple of guys throughout that race. Trying to think of who you were battling with throughout the race.
There's Jean Baptiste was the main nemesis there, but one of the other fellas seemed to come from the back. Janos Frank, I think it was. But yeah, had a hell of a battle with the three of them, and wasn't real happy. I got into the back of our mate Jean Baptiste, and there on the last turn, and car didn't seem to be very damaged after it, but I watched it from my angle and his angle, and I sort of thought I went maybe, a few metres late, but he seemed to bog down in his gearbox or something went wrong there, and he sort of locked up, and I ended up just clipped him in the right-hand rear, and spun him, and he seemed a little bit angry with me after that. Who would have thought?
Yeah, on the broadcast, it looks like came from about 10 or 15 car lengths back, but I got to agree with you. It didn't look like you really outbroke yourself that much. I couldn't understand what happened to Jean there, but obviously you couldn't either. That was a little bit weird. And then he certainly didn't have any nice words for you.
No, we don't usually talk to each other like that, but then again, Mark topped it as well, I think, just to be he wasn't happy. I didn't see that. What happened behind me? I haven't looked at that yet. There was, just as we headed up to the corkscrew, there was some big accident there involving Mark.
Yeah, Mark was on for a solid third place, and he was just coming through the Pontiac traffic, and can't remember who it was. Someone got into the back of Janos Frank, I think, going up the hill, and that was also very, very strange, and just turned Frank straight into the side of Mark Dial, and Dial was in the fence, just an innocent bystander. That was another very weird incident.
Race started off pretty well. We had a bit of a line of four going for, I think it was a few laps. It's hard to say when I think I was on the end of that line, and there's a few position changes, and I got to admit, I did kind of, I didn't fight Jean Baptiste too hard. I thought he did pretty well to catch me, and considering there was some contact there, I didn't argue with him too much, but I thought I might have been up for some more, some rear end payback there. But anyway, we raced each other fairly after that. But yeah, I swear when you listen to his gearbox, he seemed to really bog down in first gear, and I think he just really locked up, and that's really why I got him. I tried to not, I don't want contact. I don't want the demerit points or anything. But anyway, that's racing. That's how it goes. So there's a fair field of cars too at this track with the the basic membership track. So that was good to see a lot of cars out there.
Yeah, 15 Pontiacs. That was good.
It was well worth qualifying up near the front to not have to come through all of that. But, Russell and whoever he was racing got away again there, and we're just bogged down, I think, racing each other there for third and fourth for too long. And, next thing, Russell and his sparring partner were just gone.
All right, so 5 rounds left in the championship. You currently sit third. Do you think you can attack Russell and Dennis in these last 5 rounds?
Well, I'll certainly attack Dennis if he's not going to be showing up.
I guess so.
But Russell's obviously shown some good pace there, and he has all season. So I don't know if he knows that you guys are tipping him yet, but anyway, I told him he's a star out there at the moment. So he just wants a championship, where I just want to win at the moment.
Don't we all, I guess?
Yeah, but, got to send a shout out to the racer right out there. He's been a bit of a fan of the series and you guys with the broadcast and that. So g'day, Racer Rod.
It's good to hear. It's good to have some shout outs and especially those sponsors that get behind these teams. So good to have a shout out. Thanks, Brad and Fenley, for joining us in the commentary booth this week. All the best for next week.
Yeah, no worries, fellas. I'll see if I can bring a bit more and get my elusive win. But yeah, thanks for everything. Thanks for supporting the series. Good job.
No worries, mate.
All right. We'll quickly go join Oliver Shirley's for a quick chat with him about his race.
Mate, so close to a podium position today, but it all just went pear-shaped down the final few corners.
Yeah, I got to slow down through the the corkscrew, and I was trying to figure out how I could slow down and lose the time without letting him by, and he got around the outside of me, and in theory I should have probably guarded the other side, but yeah, I think he was a little bit quicker than me anyway, so it's one of those sort of things.
What was your race otherwise? I mean, you seem to be pretty well glued to the back of Tom for the most part of what I saw. Did you feel like you were evenly matched?
Yeah, I thought he was maybe a little bit quicker than me. I got past him a couple of times, but I don't know what happened. I don't know if he got slowdowns, but I got past him a couple of times. I know he was pushing quite hard, so I thought I was on the limit as well. And then we sort of, with the traffic, I got a little bit back, and then he got a little bit back in front. Once I got past him at the end, and I got held up by the traffic, I thought, oh, that's who he's going to catch me. But then when he got caught up by those two cars that I just got by, I thought, okay, I've probably got him here. And then, as I said, I overcooked it going into the corkscrew, and that was probably the end of it. So it was probably a fair result. And as I said, realistically, Mark should have come third. Mark got really unlucky and got taken out by the Solstice with a couple of more laps to go. So, yeah. Fourth place is probably good. It's probably where best case scenario should have finished anyway. It's better than last time when you saw me off in the weeds somewhere. So,
yeah, we're talking to Brad Fenley about that weird incident between Mark Dial and the Solstice. Really unfortunate for Mark. He was driving really well all night, and he was looking for a very solid third position. And just those things happen in motor racing. These little things, but not how you want to see your night end.
No, that's exactly right. I mean, Mark's obviously on TeamSpeak. He's obviously part of the team. He was obviously pretty upset about it. But it sounded like the 10 hit into the 21, and then the 21 came across and hit him. But it said I didn't see it. I just came over the hill, and it said yellow flag, and I saw Mark with his car cringer, and then I saw a Solstice pitting. So I'm only second-hand information. You guys hopefully got the replay and can see what actually happened.
Yeah, I think you pretty much got it right. The only thing I can think of is that the car in front, well, it might have been the 10 car, I think, he must have got a slowdown because he was going slow and then got punted and it was just chaos. But how did you find the traffic? Obviously, there was 15 Pontiacs out there today. How did you find the traffic at this short, tight circuit?
It wasn't too bad. I mean, it's not the ideal sort of track to overtake on. Most of them were pretty good. As I said, I got held up a little bit, and then obviously I gained it back as well. I had that one scary moment where I had to try to overtake two coming up the hill just before that left-hander, and I thought, oh, God, am I going to make it? But I just went for it and hoped for the best. And as I said, there was another time I caught them coming through the corkscrew and stuff when you're stuck. We've obviously got an advantage down the straight, but in some of the twisty sections, it gets a bit hairy, and then you end up getting offline, and then you got to do it. But no, overall, everyone was pretty good. Obviously, barring what happened to Mark, I didn't have any issues. I mean, you get held up a little bit, but it's not intentional. It's just you're in a faster car and the closing speed. So, That's what I enjoy. I enjoy that and there's a bit of strategy involved there, and sometimes you can gain and sometimes you lose, so.
Yeah, no doubt. We saw a couple of times for the leaders that it sometimes played into good effect, sometimes it didn't play into good effect, so you got to be lucky in these things.
Yeah, that's exactly right, and it all evens out in the end. I mean, as long as you don't get taken out or severely hampered, no one minds. I mean, I'm not expecting these people to jump out of the way, Formula One sort of style, but it sometimes annoys me when they sort of, I suppose, block you a little bit. But most of the people realised, hey, they're not racing you, and they try to get out of the way. The only time it gets hairy is when there's a couple of them all sort of together. That can get a bit hairy. If it's one by themselves, but I mean, I've been in cases where you get 3 or 4 of them in a gaggle, and that can get interesting because you're trying to get past them without ruining their race. But it can be rather scary, and you sort of have to weave between them, and sometimes, you just you just have to hope for the best that they see you and that they move out of your way. So, it wasn't too bad.
Yeah, Barry and Callow had a bad case of that. They had 4 Pontiac Solstice coming into turn 1, and
Wow.
Benjamin Turner had to take a bit of evasive action, going onto the sand and stuff. So yeah, definitely it is very interesting with cars trying to get around each other.
Yeah,
So,
I did hear Gary yell on TeamSpeak, we're going 3 wide into turn 1, and I went, well, that's probably not going to end well. Then he said, one of the cars is off, and I'm thinking, well, it's obviously not him. It's probably not Callow. So, yeah, it must have been the Solstice. So, yeah, I mean, these things happen, you know what I mean? Especially when people are inexperienced, especially on a free track, you get some people that are inexperienced, but, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Well, 5 rounds to go. Shaping up to be a pretty good battle at the end of this season. How are you feeling about the next 5 rounds of Watkins Glen and a few massive tracks like Le Mans?
Watkins Glen I quite like. I'm not necessarily over quick at it. It's pretty good. It's a bit of a draft track, but we're going on the boot layout with the bus stop, so that should be quite good. And then, Le Mans, I'm not sure about Le Mans in these cars. I'm up in the air about that. It might be a bit of a snooze fest down the back straight, especially with the Solstice. We might need to bring a book. Silverstone we've never gone to in the GTC, so that should be good. Suzuka's a really great track. It's actually one of my favourite tracks. I love that track in real life. And this... and New Hampshire, I haven't done in a while. I don't think the GTC's ever been there. I've done that in the Skippy before, and it was pretty good. We're doing about 1:10 laps or something in the Skippy, so I don't know how fast we're going to go in this, but that could be interesting because that little twisty section where you go up the hill and everything out of the oval is very, very tight. So it could throw up some interesting things, especially get stuck behind traffic and stuff. It's a really, really demanding sort of track. So I'm looking forward to the rest of the season. I said my exams are done, so hopefully I can make the rest of them. But yeah, I don't have the speed to keep up with those guys. So unless they're going to start taking each other out and stuff, I've got to just sort of hope for the sort of results like I get today and hope for some good battles. So that's my game plan.
Yeah, that's typical Bradbury style.
Yeah, I've got no issues with Stephen Bradbury. Someone like Callow is ridiculously quick. John Barry is ridiculously quick. People like that. Antoine Mays, when you've seen those sort of guys when they race at the front, they're in like another planet. I don't know how they get so fast. I keep telling Callow that he must have some sort of grip hack or there's something in the water in Adelaide, but the Adelaide thing obviously doesn't work because you guys aren't uber quick. So, it must be a grip hack thing. I don't know what he's got going on. So, where were you this week, Jackson? I didn't see you out there.
Thought I'd focus on one thing this week.
It's not too good at doing 2 things at once.
I was going to say you should come back next week. Watkins Glen's easy. You just go flat out and then occasionally have to turn a brake. But, it's not you probably pick the hardest track to do with Nord. So if you pick an easier track, or Le Mans, you can probably commentate down the back straight in Le Mans, especially if you're in the Solstice, instead of having a nap, and we could just, we'll just wake you up when you got a corner and brake, and then you can have another nap again down the next straight,
We might have a think about Le Mans. We'll wait and see.
I think Le Mans will be good because I said Le Mans. In all honesty, Le Mans should be good. I just don't think it's necessarily suits this sort of car. But it's a new track. Let's do it. We might get some really good drafting battles where we get to draft each other and then draft back. I know that happens at Watkins Glen and at Daytona and stuff. So with that straight being even longer, you might get like someone overtaking you, and then you might get overtaken again. You know, the draft's going to be epic. So, and it's so wide as well. You might get 3-4 wide going into some of those chicanes, which could be scary. So, it should be good. But yeah, Watkins, you'll enjoy Watkins as well with the draft and everything.
Yeah, in a few weeks' time, I think we might aim to have both Jackson and I racing in the series for a once-off thing, and we'll make sure we bring a post-race broadcast of that whole race to you guys live on LitTV as we commentate with it. I think that'd be a really good inclusion, and see how we can go up against the best drivers in the GTC.
That would be absolutely fantastic. Just don't pick the Jet. I think you need to pick one of the cars that's a bit more heavily populated.
Yeah, if I could drift like Ben Callow, I reckon I'll jump in the Mustang.
Yeah, as I said, he's got some serious car control skills. Like you said, the way he can go off track. But Ben's one of those guys, he's always drives at 110%. There's no, he either seems to win or he crashes, and he's figured out how not to crash because he's got awesome car control. But yeah, I can't drive at that limit all the time. So that's why he's so quick,
Yeah, that's right. Well, I think that just about wraps up the coverage of round 7 of the Asia Pacific Grand Touring Cup here from Mazda Laguna Seca. We saw a brilliant race tonight with John D. Barry winning the Mustang and rounding out a brilliant field of 25 cars. Right, join us for Watkins Glen in a week's time for some of the best action that you'll see in the Grand Touring Cup all week. We'll see you at the usual time. Have a good week, and we'll look forward to bringing the action here on LitTV. This has been a production by iRacing, LitTV, brought to you by Blackadder Motorsport, GP Racing Karts, and iRacing. This has been Jackson and Jeremiah. Hope to see you next week. Catch you guys.